Okay, well, good morning. And as I said, welcome back to everybody. I think this is our first monthly meeting since the holidays. So happy New Year. Hope you all are doing well. Fantastic. I know I see a lot of names here that I do recognize as having been on our events before. So welcome back to those of you who are new. Welcome. So there's going to be a few things that we're going to go ahead and do today. We're just going to give you some updates since our last meeting, which was, looks like here, December 3rd. We're going to go ahead and go over the process for single and multi-employer virtual job fair and how to go ahead and navigate that in the dashboards, more specifically for our partners who are LWIAs. And then, of course, once we get through all of that, we'll have an opportunity for you to go ahead and ask any questions that you might have, and hopefully we will be able to provide a good answer for you. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and delve right in. What you see on your page here is our virtual job fair landing page. This is kind of the repository, if you will, for all of anything virtual job fair related that is housed on Illinois Worknet. More specifically, what we're going to kind of hone in on here today is some of the partner tool updates that have taken place since our last meeting here. And as you'll see, actually, I don't believe we have them added here, so my apologies. But I'll go ahead. I do have them listed here, so give me one moment. Since our last meeting, we actually had single and multi-employer Vjf dashboards updated. And we've done that through the booth management side of the tool here. So what I'm actually going to go ahead and do is walk you through this so you can see how to access it, what it looks like, so on and so forth. And if you do have any questions throughout this, go ahead and throw them into the chat. And again, once we get to Q&A, I'll be happy to answer anything that you might have. So we're going to go ahead and redirect our efforts here to the Illinois Worknet homepage. Again, just illinoisworknet.com. Click on that. This is what you will get. You'll get the homepage here. As partners, you should have been given partner level access to the Vjf tool. Now, how you're going to go ahead and access that is, of course, as you'll see here, I'm logged in. You'll want to be sure that you're logged into your account on the homepage. If you go over to the My Dashboard dropdown up here at the top, and click on that, you should see an icon that'll say virtual job fair. If you click on that, there'll be a complete listing of all of the employer booths that are active within your region or your LWIA. Now, all of the booths that you see here are for me, obviously, as the chief Vjf point person, if you will, for Worknet. This is for the entire state, so no worries. There's not going to be that many booths more than likely for your region unless maybe you're an LWIA 7. But nevertheless, all the active booths, expired booths, booths that need reviewed will be listed on this page for your viewing. And as you'll see here, the way you can kind of navigate between all of the different statuses that I just mentioned here is through this drop-down menu. You'll see active, archived, upcoming, expired, and needs reviewed. So what we're going to kind of focus in or hone in on today is this Vjf Event Administration tab that you'll see here. So if you click on that, you'll see there's an option for single or multi-employer Vjfs. I know for the sake of the LWIAs who are on the line, what a lot of you are kind of seeing or experiencing or have been asked to do, if you will, since we've incorporated this new tool, is to kind of track the progress of the single employer Vjfs more specifically. So we'll go ahead and click on that. And again, this will be the exact same thing you'll see when you're navigating the page when you're signed in as a partner. We'll give that a moment to process here. You'll see all of the outstanding Vjf requests that we have. Now, again, just want to make it clear, all of these Vjfs are for the entire state. These are our single employer requests. So these all won't come up in your page specifically. It'll just be for your specific region. So we'll go ahead and click on one of these so you all can see kind of a bird's eye view, if you will, of how this process is intended to work. So I'll go ahead and click on an event here that I'm working on that's still in progress. So you'll see here, when you click on an event, as we just had up on the screen there, this is the page that will come up when you do so. So you'll see an employer name, requested dates that an employer does have listed for the event that they want to hold. And those will be in 30-minute increments, by the way. You'll see that here in the selected available times category. So these are the time slots that we do offer for them to hold their events. Again, they'll select the ones they're interested in. We'll take a look at our calendars to see if we do have availability. And then, of course, we'll follow up with them to let them know which slots we do have available for them. You'll see up here on the right-hand, kind of top right-hand side, the status of the event. So again, once we first get the event request in, it will be listed as open. Of course, once either the LWIA or ourselves takes a look at the status, we'll then label it as in progress. You'll see down below that contact info, and this will be all collected on the registration page when an employer reaches out, obviously, for us to hold a VJF with the assistance of the LWIA and Illinois Worknet. You'll see here the name, email, phone number, the LWIA that it's listed in, and then the industries that that employer is seeking to hire in. Again, down here, just a listing of what type of event structure the employer would like to have. As you can see here, they have the option to select either only their company, or if they are interested in participating in a multi-employer session, they can select that option as well, and we'll obviously consider them further for any multi-employer events that we do have in their region. Once we do create a registration page, webinar URL will be housed here. Any additional information or instructions that you want to include, you can also do so here. And then a registration link, once that webinar URL is added here, will be generated right here. You can copy that link URL and then share it across your platforms for folks to be able to register for the event. Again, off to the left-hand side, target population. You can select who it is that exactly they would like to target as far as the demographic is concerned for their event. And then down here, it's kind of an important piece that we've added here again, post-event follow-up. We do encourage the employer themselves to fill this information out, but also with the assistance of the respective LWIA that the event is taking place in. So, we do ask that the LWIA follow up with the employer if possible, to ask them if there were any folks that were hired as a result of the VJF. And you'll see here, you can add, however many folks obviously were hired as an, result of the event. Off to the right-hand side here, you'll see follow-up status. If it still needs followed up, we'll click on that. If we did follow up and found out how many folks were hired, we'll click on that. And then obviously completed as our final option there. How many attended the VJF event? We can get this information from those post-event registration reports that are sent out to the employer, and moving forward to the LWIA contacts that we do have here at Worknet. And then which industries did you hire in? Again, this will be just a drop down, and they'll select all of the industries that they sought to hire folks in. Kind of a last note here on this page that's pretty important. You'll see here we have this note feature. We do encourage the LWIAs to utilize this feature, obviously, so we're staying in constant communication and contact, not only through email, but obviously we have this, again, kind of single repository where all information related to the specific event we're working on is housed all in one location. So everybody's on the same page and everybody knows exactly what's going on. So I'll show you how to go ahead and do so. We did have a question on this. So if you click add note, you won't see anything come up down here if you stay at the bottom of the page. But if you do scroll up, you'll see this window. You'll just go ahead and click, type in whatever the note is. So for the example today, we'll just go ahead and type in sample note for monthly LWIA meeting. Important part of this is that you click save, click OK here at the top, and then you'll see here that note will be added to our notes section here. It'll tell you who it was added by, what time, or what the date is and what the time is. So again, we do encourage you to utilize this feature to keep everybody kind of abreast as to what is going on with the respective event that's taking place. Another thing here to note, any information that you're altering here at the top, so whether it's the status, the date of the event, the time that it's going to be taking place, so on and so forth, you want to go ahead and make sure that you're clicking save when any changes are being made. Otherwise, if you do not, obviously those changes will not be saved. So I did not update the available time that the event would be taking place. As you can see here, we settled on 1 to 1:30 for Spectrum preferred meets. So I'll go ahead and select 1 p.m. here. We'll click save. Again, make sure you click that OK at the top. And then now that information has been updated, again, it's been saved, and then we can move forward, obviously refer to this page as we're continuing to move forward with the event. So I'm going to go ahead and navigate back here to this page and just let you all see what this will look like once it's updated. And again, you'll see here, we'll scroll down to the bottom to our Spectrum Preferred Meets entry, if you will, and you'll see again, we have our submission date, start date, and that we're still kind of in the planning processes with the needs follow up, and you'll see it's still listed as in progress. So that's the single employer event side. Again, the same thing is pretty much followed for the multi-employer events, but we'll go ahead and show you what that looks like here as well. Again, just want to encourage you all, if you do have partner level access to the VJF tool, just please be sure to check the status of the VJF requests that have come into your region or LWIA on a weekly basis. You don't necessarily need to do it every day, but just at least once weekly would be helpful. Again, just want to kind of drive home that we will, moving forward, be CCing our LWIA contacts that we do have in our comprehensive contact form. We'll be CCing you on all event communications moving forward so that you're aware of what's going on with events that are taking place in your region. And again, we do encourage you to share the events that will be taking place across your social media platforms. If you have mailing lists or mailers, that you send out, that you let folks know that hiring events will be upcoming, so on and so forth. That way we can really, drive home the increase in registration and make sure that we have a successful event for both the job seeker and the employer alike. So again, we're going to go up to the Vjf Event Administration tab here. We'll click on the multi-employer VJFs, and you'll see here, again, pretty similar to our single employer virtual job fair request platform, if you will, that we see here. And again, this is just a complete listing of all of the multi-employer events that we have completed. So there are not any outstanding requests that are on this column. And again, if you do have any multi-employer requests that do come in, we do encourage you to loop either myself or David into the process pretty early on. That way we can really help assist with the planning process, since it is obviously a little bit more thorough and depth and comprehensive. But nevertheless, we'll go ahead and click on one of these so you can see what it looks like. Again, pretty similar in format here. Again, we have our name for the event. We've got our dates, available times, our status, whoever the primary point person is going to be for the event listed here. Obviously the LWIA, the industries that we're seeking to target. And then kind of the only thing that's different here is you'll see the additional notes in the multi-employer logo that we do have here. So for the notes, we'll basically just list all of the organizations who will be partnering with us to hold the event. Obviously make sure that it goes off without a hitch and that it's a success. We'll add a logo. So if we do have a flyer or anything like that, that is generated in the course of planning the event, we'll add that to that section here. And then again, just similar to this single employer event, you'll see here post-event follow-up, how many folks were hired or, as a result of the event, and how many attended. And then again, any notes that are generated, during the course of planning the event, we'll be sure to add them here. So again, want to just encourage you, if you do have any questions for this process, obviously, to go ahead and ask. I'm going to go ahead and open up the chat here and make sure that we get any questions answered that you all might have. David, I want to go ahead, obviously, and not put you on the spot, but loop you in. Is there anything else that you'd like to cover with the folks here today, or maybe anything that I might have overlooked?
I don't believe so. The only thing, and forgive me if you have already mentioned it, Daniel, is that when we do get some of these events and start posting about them, creating the registration page and promoting on social media, but that we will create calendar invites and invite you to it if you're not as aware of the event, just so that you do know of it and that you can then promote to through the communication channels that you have at your disposal, email lists, social media, and so forth. But that would be the only thing that I would add at this time, Daniel.
Awesome, thank you. And again, I just gonna real quick here show folks, because I see we had a few new folks hop on here, how exactly to get to this administration page. So again, be sure that you're logged in here to your Worknet account. Go to My Dashboard, Virtual Job Fair logo or tab, if you will. You'll have a complete listing of all the booths that are active or need reviewed within your LWIA. And then to access that administration side, you'll see this tab on the right-hand side. Select single or multi-employer VJFs to see what outstanding requests are in your region. And then again, you'll be able to navigate through them again, through all of those entries that are in your region. And you'll be able to add notes, track the progress, so on and so forth here, as you'll see listed. One other thing, as we are, going through the planning process of this, we obviously have a lot of different resources that you can use and that are at your disposal to help you through the process, other than just David and myself. Of course, we're always happy to answer any questions that you might have. But if you go to this Partners tab here at the top of the homepage, scroll down, Tools, Guides, and Initiatives. You'll see right here, Virtual Job Fair Guide, as always. Click on that. Again, here is all of the resources that we do have available for the virtual job fair. We encourage you to take a look at the full list of resources tab. And then again here, all of the documents, planning resources that we do have currently available for you to assist in that planning process. As you'll see here, we have templates to collect employer information. We have timelines to help keep everything on task. We have lists of questions, as you'll see here, that can be asked during those events to help make sure that we don't have any awkward moments, that we're helping to spur meaningful conversations, so on and so forth. We even have different promotional documents and marketing documents. You'll see here we have customizable Vjf flyer that you can use, social media post samples that you can use, different social media plan templates that can be used, so on and so forth. So a lot of great templates and information that can be used to obviously help execute these events and make sure that they go off without a hitch. Down below, you'll see here our weekly reports. So every week we get a report that is sent to our partners at the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, as well as the Illinois Department of Employment Security. You'll see here literally every weekly planning document or planning report that has been sent since the inception and rollout of the tool, all the way up to yesterday's report here will be listed by quarter for you. So if you're just curious to see where the numbers sit, how many events have been held, what events or large scale events are upcoming, you can click on these reports and obviously see. I'll pull one up here just for your viewing, obviously see kind of where we stand, where the tool stands to date. So again, a lot of great information on this page. We do encourage you to take a look at it and use it as you are beginning those VJF planning stages. Now, again, I also want to clarify one thing here as well, and I hope I'm not confusing any folks, but when you are navigating to that single employer event administration. You're taking a look at obviously the outstanding requests that are in your LWIA or region. The reason why we really kind of want to loop you folks in more so than we had in the past and get you guys really kind of engaged and active in the planning process is that oftentimes we'll have employers obviously make requests, and as you'll see here, we have quite a few entries that were canceled. We want you to kind of act as the initial primary contact for the VJFs, if that makes sense. And the reason being is obviously because we get such a high volume of requests rolling in. A lot of times when employers request VJFs, we follow up with them and see exactly what needs it is that they have, or what resources it is that they're looking for. We find that oftentimes it might not actually be appropriate to hold a virtual job fair event for them. A lot of times maybe they're seeking to promote in-person events that they're holding, promote virtual events that they're holding on their own, or just looking for additional services that LWIAs can provide to help connect them to job seekers and vice versa. So what we want you all to do, obviously, is kind of gauge whether or not it is appropriate for them to hold a virtual job fair. And if so, then we move to that next step in the process where we get involved more so, to help kind of with the nuts and bolts planning, obviously hosting, moderating side of the virtual job fair process. So again, what we're encouraging you to do is just check weekly the requests that are outstanding in your LWIA. Obviously follow up with those employer contacts to gauge what exactly it is that they're wanting to do and what services it is they're seeking. If it's appropriate for us to move forward with a virtual job fair at that time, then reach out to David or myself and we'll get the ball rolling and make sure that we get them scheduled for an event. Obviously, we'll CC you in all communications moving forward and make sure that we're all on the same page moving forward. Again, point being here, takeaway is that keeping an open line of communication and that we're really able to stay on the same page and promote these events so that we're having a greater turnout for them, especially for our single employer events, and that we're connecting, employers and job seekers, vice versa, and that everybody's getting a meaningful experience out of it. So I'm going to go ahead and stop talking here for a minute, make sure if you do have any questions, you have an opportunity to ask them. And of course, I'd be more than happy to answer any questions that you do have. Take a look at the chat here. Looks like we did get a few questions. Is there a reason why we get so many emails or VJF emails for the events, even after we are assisting the company and it is in progress? Tammy, I'm not sure if you can elaborate a little bit more on that, but my guess would be is we do have a daily email that is sent out to let you know if there are any new employer booths that have been added in your region, if there are any new event requests that are outstanding in your region, and if any updates have been made to the booth or those event requests, you'll get a notification, obviously letting you know that that has been the case. Again, obviously the intention here is just to keep you abreast of everything that's going on with that employer, with that event in your region, so everybody's on the same page.
And Daniel, I would just add to that, Tammy, if you're receiving that email, multiple times and it's the exact same email, then if it's duplicated, then that might be another issue that we can look into. And if that's the case, just let us know.
Awesome. Thank you for that clarification, David. Much appreciated. Greg, I see you said you don't have the VJF logo on your dashboard. My assumption would be you probably haven't been given partner level access. So if you are going to be a point of contact for the VJF, we would encourage you, obviously, if you haven't created an account, to do so. But if you have, send me over the email that you use to create your account. And then obviously, we'll be sure to get you proper access. You can also let me know what LWIA you're with or what organization you're with. That'll assist to make sure that we collect your, obviously, contact information moving forward and make sure you get CC'd on any communications that go out for events in your region. So Greg, if you can just shoot me an email and let me know that information, that'd be fantastic. I'll throw my email into the chat here. and we'll make sure that you are added to the Vjf administration. Just sent you my email, and actually I'm going to go ahead and put that in the chat for everybody as well. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and go through our questions here. David, are you able to add the title of the person at the company contact panel? David, are you aware? I'm going to actually go ahead and open this up here so we can take a look.
Yeah, and I think what I was going to say was in that name field where, you know, in this case, we see Tina's name. I think what you could do, David, is add, you know, a dash or parentheses, and you could include the title of that employer contact and save. Or if at any point you're working with this employer and that name, email, and phone number changes, you get a different employer contact, you can update that information, you know, as needed as well. And then you just have to click save. And I do want to stress that again, any changes you make, you have to click save, or if, you know, you back out or refresh the screen, then they won't be preserved in the entry here. But yes, you can add it and update it right there.
Hi, David. It's David Lazandra.
Hi, David.
Hi. What I meant was, can you add it there? Not for us to ask, you know what I'm saying, but kind of as an option for the client to fill that up. Because sometimes it kind of helps, like who we're talking to, like, you know what I'm saying, like if they're maybe the president of the company or like a talent acquisition person, something like that. So
yeah, I think that might be something that we could look into further, because it should be tied to the employer contact of the booth page itself. But yeah, I think upon submission, we don't collect that information, if I'm understanding.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that might be something, David, we can have a programmer add on the registration side and make it a required field. Not sure if that would be something that would be a possibility, but again, just throwing that idea out there.
Thank you.
Yeah, we should certainly be able to do that.
Okay, excellent. All right, so I'm going to continue moving through our questions here. Who do I contact to get my VJF tool added to my Worknet account? Cassandra, see you. You can go ahead and shoot me an email. You'll see there, daniel.marscal@siu.edu. Shoot me an email with your Worknet user account and the email that you use to create the account, and then also what organization and LWIA that you are with. And I'll be sure to get your contact info added to that admin page so you can obviously utilize all of these tools that we just covered here today. Okay, let me see here. Ken, seeing your message now, is this for reviewing currently scheduled events or for setting up new events? Great question, Ken. This is for events that have been officially requested already. Now that said, David, correct me if I'm wrong here, but can LWIAs also use this to request events as well, not just employers?
That's correct. Yeah, if you select that drop down, Daniel, on either the single employer event, if there was one that they wanted to do for an existing booth, they could do that. They could add their own by selecting that plan your single employer VJF event. And that would be a registration, or actually, sorry, that redirects to this page that shows, you know, whether or not you would like our assistance with the event, and just kind of shows the all the work that's, you know, expected of, you know, both parties with our assistance and without, if you choose to do it on your own. And the same for if you wanted to hold a larger event, you can do so as well on the multi-employer dashboard page, and it will also link to a there you go. The buttons at the top: request assistance, hosting, then add my own. So request assistance, hosting, that'll lead to the registration page that you would complete with, you know, just some details about your event. And then once that's submitted, it'll create a record in the dashboard tool there. And additionally, if you select that other blue button right there, this is the add my own. Okay, so yeah, this would just be you adding your own event to the dashboard here. That way, we know that we're aware of it. We can promote it as well.
So I think to make this more succinct and concise, David, the way to look at this is for the single employer events, there is not an option necessarily for the LWIAs to add an event themselves, but for the multi-employer events, there is. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes.
Yep. And just for folks that are new, two completely different types of events, two different setups that we use and formats that we use as well. So we have our single employer and our multi-employer events that we hold here. So again, just want to stress, we have those two options here, single employer and multi-employer events. If you do want to hold a multi-employer event within your region, you can absolutely do so, and you can request it through this Vjf Administration tab that we just covered here today. Again, right here, this is just the complete listing of our single employer events. You do not need to worry about adding that on your own. That will be the employer that will do so. That will be prompted to do so once they create their employer booth on Illinois Worknet. So if there's any confusion there, please feel free to ask any questions and we'll make sure to clarify that. I'm gonna go ahead and go back to our chat here and see what other questions that we do have. Hopefully, Ken, that answered your question. I see, Ken, if we do the event on our own, can you assist with candidate outreach? Another great question. Yes, the answer is actually a resounding yes. So for folks that are new to this process, we're going to show you another kind of piece of the VJF tool. So you'll see here, this is our home page. If we scroll down, you'll see the virtual job fair section here. We'll click on search virtual job fairs, that second tab there. First tab, you'll see we have booths, Vjf events. First is our complete listing of all of the employer booths that we have on Worknet currently available. Second tab here, and this is getting more at Ken's question, is the Vjf Events Calendar that we do maintain and operate. And you'll see here a complete listing of all of the upcoming virtual job fair events that we have taking place by month. So if we go back here, you'll see all of our events from December, November, et cetera, and then moving forward. A lot of times, these won't really start to fill up quite a bit until the actual month of, if that makes sense. So we'll navigate back to January here, and we'll click on one of these so you can see what this looks like. So you'll see we do have an upcoming event. Give me one moment here. We'll go back to our Spectrum Preferred Meets example here. So I'll click on that and you'll see when job seekers click on this, this is the information that'll come up. You'll see here event type, webinar, our intended audiences, the series, the date and time of the event, the location, which is just our registration page, brief description of obviously the organization and what exactly the industries are that we'll be hiring in. And then you do have the option here, obviously, to add to a calendar, to print it, or you can share it to social media pages, either Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn. Or if you triple click on this, save and copy, you can share this link, obviously, through an email, add it to a newsletter, anything like that that you maintain to help spread the word. Another thing to note here, and I hope, again, I'm not trying to confuse anybody, but we'll get back to our main calendar here. Give this just one moment. You do have the option too, if you obviously have that administrative access, to add an event yourself. So if you're comfortable doing so, you can absolutely do so. Or you can email myself or David and we can manually add the event for you. It's whatever you're comfortable doing. We have workforce partners and LWIAs that add events on their own, and those that reach out to us to help them add the events. Whatever you choose is fine. But I'll go ahead and walk you through how to add an event to this page. So you'll just click add an event. Obviously, all these fields up here are optional. Give me one moment here. It might actually be loading. My apologies. Okay, there we go. So you'll see terms of service, just click I agree. And then this will lead you to the page where you can add an event. You'll just give your event a short title. Anything that has a red asterisk, remember that's a required field. An event type. For virtual job fair, we always just select webinar. You'll select your start date. So we'll just make up a date and time here. So let's just say the 21st at 10 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. is going to be our single employer event. You'll click online event, add the registration page to the event here. So you can use Eventbrite or whatever platform that you want to use, whether you use Eventbrite, Microsoft Teams, WebEx, whatever that is, you can add that there. Or if you have a registration page that you're operating, you can add that there as well. So Eventbrite, any other platforms like that, you can add the URL to that event there. Our brief description here, just letting folks know exactly, what the event is, what's going to be taking place, so on and so forth. Our target audiences, so a lot of times all we'll go ahead and do is select general public, job seeker, laid off worker, and then veteran. But if there's any other target populations that you want to go ahead and hit, you can absolutely place a check mark by them. You can do re-entry as well, youth, so on and so forth. And then the last really important thing to note here, you'll see grade level, field of interest, frequency, series. You can disregard the top three, but make sure you click the series tab at the bottom here, click the drop down. And if you navigate down to virtual job fair, that will add it to the virtual job fair specific calendar that we do have. You'll click add event, and then your event will be added to that calendar in that entry form that we just showed you. So it will come up once you've added that event to your calendar, or to the calendar, excuse me, it'll come up just like this. Again, this is just the public facing side of that entry form. So again, you'll see all that information we just filled out here, and this will be where it is listed. Again, if you feel comfortable giving that a try, you are more than welcome to. If not, reach out to David or myself and we can add an event to the calendar for you. So hopefully that answered your question as well, Ken. Any other questions, thoughts, concerns that folks have? We'd be happy to answer any questions that you do have. Fantastic. Well, if nobody has any additional questions, of course, thank you all for joining us today. We hope this was obviously helpful for you. We're going to continue to just kind of drive this home and continue to go over this so folks, really get a good grasp or understanding of how this tool is going to work. Make sure you guys are all, kept abreast of any updates that occur as they occur. And again, if you do not have that Vjf access that we did talk about earlier, reach out to myself and just give me that information again, your username, your email, your LWIA or organization that you're representing, and we'll be sure to get you that Vjf level access so you'll have it here in your dashboard moving forward. Amy, just saw your message there. Maybe we can organize a basic training on virtual events and demo for all LWIA 7 agencies. Yeah, absolutely. I'd be more than happy to do so to be sure that everyone's on the same page, since we have, especially in LWIA 7, quite a few agencies that are kind of looped into this process. So Amy, if you want to follow up with me and set something up, we absolutely can do so. And hopefully I'm saying this right, Naomi, seeing your message here in the chat. I will follow back.
Yes, it's Noemi. Sorry,
okay,
it's Noemi.
Noemi, my apologies there. Yes, I will follow up with you via email here. Just got it. So give me a few moments here after the call and I will follow back up with you and we will kind of begin that process, okay?
Thank you so much. Yeah, no rush. Thank you. Thank you. This was very informative.
Excellent. Glad to hear it. Excellent. Well, thank you everyone for joining. Again, we've recorded this session, so it will be uploaded to that Vjf resources and guide page that we showed you earlier later today. Again, plan to meet with us again next month, and we'll go over any updates that we have and any questions that you might have at that time. Thank you, everybody. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Take care.